I want to ask you a question, and be honest. When was the last time you went to the movie theater and saw anything original? Anything. Not based off of a comic book, not based off of a 90s success. Just anything that was written for this day and age. Just think about that. Space Jam: A New Legacy. So Space Jam: A New Legacy is the second installment in the Space Jam universe. And now that I'm actually thinking about it, this is... I haven't yet done a video where something isn't an installment of anything else. But Space Jam is the reboot that really nobody asked for. So LeBron's son is captured by this algorithm program. Wait, hold on. I think I actually wrote it down. Okay. LeBron's son is kidnapped by a computer algorithm, and LeBron has to save his son and the world, or at least his 91 million Instagram followers, by playing a high-stakes basketball game against Don Cheadle and mutated players. I am not joking. That is the actual plot of this movie. It doesn't have a whole lot going for it. Neither do all these like reboot and sequels and whatever the studio execs are making these days. It doesn't have a lot going for it other than the fact that you have a big name, not even a big name actor, a big name basketball player and a big name 90s hit, which would be the Looney Tunes. And when you mash them up and you put them in a movie together, all your movie really is relying on is a star power that I just mentioned. I mean, you also get Don Cheadle in there. He, big name actor as well. Which I gotta say, I will try to limit myself to comparing this to the original as many times as I can. Primarily because when I actually walked into this movie, I had not seen the original Space Jam. Now, I know it has become sort of like this cult classic, which is weird because that was a Nike commercial turned into a movie. But either way, it became a little bit of a classic. I had not yet seen it until prior to making this video. But this really is a very different movie from the original. It has a lot of the same aspects, but this one tries to be a lot more high stakes and a lot more intense. And I gotta say, I don't think it achieved it, in my opinion. I gotta say, the biggest issue that I had with this movie is that, one, it takes forever to start. I mean, when you go to see a movie called Space Jam and all the marketing, all the trailers are just them playing basketball, and you go in there and you spend literally more than half of the movie just setting up this high-stakes basketball game, it takes forever to start. And then once it does, surprisingly enough, I wanted it to end, which I really think was a big issue, because when you have a plot so thin and nothing to offer other than big name actors and big name basketball players, you really fall into like this storytelling limbo. So I really felt like this movie was a lot longer than it had to be. Most of this movie is them setting up the kidnapping that we already know happens, and it takes forever to do so. And let's talk about motivation for a little bit. So Alg Rhythm, which is the algorithm that Warner Brothers created, creates a multi-film studio pitch that he then presents to LeBron James. LeBron James thinks it's ridiculous. He's not an actor, he's a basketball player, and my God, he should have stayed that way. I can't understand why this movie was made. But anyway, he rejects the deal, which is a little bit self-conscious. However, Alg Rhythm is really torn by this. He thinks that LeBron disrespected him, threw so much dirt on his name. So basically, he proceeds to then kidnap his son and threaten to keep them both in this Matrix kind of universe. And half of this movie is the setup. And then another portion of it, a big portion of it, is Bugs Bunny and LeBron James traveling to other Warner Brothers properties. And this is where the movie just absolutely lost me. This is where I saw that it had nothing to offer. I mean, put this on the list of endless, joyless cash grabs. And walking into this movie, I wholeheartedly thought that this was going to be a LeBron vanity project. I was so mistaken. This is a Warner Brothers vanity project. And this is where I think this movie really fails, because it has so little to offer that at some point, I am being dead serious, there are portions of this movie where you just see clips of other movies that Warner Brothers has made, like Mad Max. There's a portion of this movie that is just straight up copy-paste of Mad Max. You see The Matrix in here, you see Rick and Morty, you see The Mask, you see all these properties that Warner Brothers have created. Warner Brothers took every single property they own, everything they have ever made, and just shoehorned it in this movie to create a sense of entertainment that I didn't feel personally, but I get, hey, a lot of people did. I mean, this movie made more money than Black Widow at the box office, so, what do I know? Now, this is, of course, supposed to be a summer comedy for kids, And I gotta say, the comedy at least was pretty dull. The jokes just didn't do it for me. They were very, very, very cheap jokes that I did not fall for. I gotta say, the biggest laugh that I got was seeing Rick and Morty on screen. So Rick and Morty fly in and they drop a Looney Tune, they have some banter, and then they leave. That was the biggest laugh this movie got out of me, and it wasn't from a joke. It was just seeing Rick and Morty, because I love Rick and Morty so much. I gotta say though, other than that, the visual effects were pretty good. They were really entertaining. They were really flashy. But I gotta say, they were not enough to justify a 2-hour runtime that was entirely padded by other Warner Brothers properties. It's just no excuse. I mean, give credit where credit is due. I fully expected when I walked into this movie to get nothing out of it. And when you walk into a theater expecting nothing other than to just let yourself go for a couple of hours, this movie will give that to you. I will give it that. This gave me the same effect that I felt walking out of Fast and Furious 9. That's it. I mean, if you go in here expecting nothing, you will get nothing, and you won't be disappointed. I understand this isn't as good as the original, but the original wasn't great either. And another movie that I dare compare this to is Ready Player One. Ready Player One was a good movie. It was entertaining enough. It had the same thing going for it as this one, which is callbacks, Easter eggs, references to other much greater films that these companies have made. But really, if you remove all Warner Brothers properties that were in this movie, I mean, you have a 45-minute movie at best. Other than that, I've already forgotten about the movie. I watched it actually a couple of days ago. And I had to rewatch the trailers to remind myself of what I had seen because I just didn't remember. But in the end, I'm going to give Space Jam: A New Legacy a 4. Thank you so much for watching. Have you already seen Space Jam: A New Legacy? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe, as well as ring the bell in order to stay notified about when we do upload videos. We're going to do a little bit of a different format. Tuesdays, we're going to have new movies just like this one. And Thursdays, we're going to have older movies. Next coming up will be Scarface, maybe Avatar. A lot of interesting projects that I look forward to reviewing. So thank you so much for watching once again, and we'll see you on the next one. No, that was bad delivery.